When I first started baking in 2017 in my small kitchen in Sydney, I was paying $6 per kilo of chocolate.
Ooh.
Today, 9 years later, I'm paying $23 per kilo of chocolate. As a baker, knowing this has happened is one thing, but understanding why this has happened is something completely different. So today, we are very lucky to have someone who can explain why this has happened and tell us a bit about the future of chocolate. Welcome to Every Cake Has a Story. My name is Gabriela. I'm the founder of Bakealicious. And today we have Gary Willis, National Sales and Marketing Manager for Mayer's Fine Foods, who are one of the biggest importers of chocolate in Australia. Hello, Gary.
Thank you. Nice to meet you and happy to be here.
Thank you. Very nice for you to be here too.
No problem.
I'm very happy.
Good.
Before we go into the details of what's been happening to the chocolate industry in the last few years, could you please tell us a little bit about your story and your chocolate journey?
My journey into chocolate.
In the chocolate,
okay,
yeah.
Look, I finished school in the mid-80s. Didn't really know what I wanted to do. I did a bit of fruit picking, bit of just running around, really not really knowing what I wanted to do. A friend of my father's owned a company. He was the original importer for Lindt chocolate and Gillian chocolate.
Wow, yes.
Back when it was, those brands were really specialty chocolates.
Of course,
and so he had a position in the warehouse, offered me to come and work in the warehouse. So I worked there for about 6 months, I think. And I had an interest in sales. Don't know why. I think I'd sort of met some of the sales team there and seemed like a pretty cool
And you
job.
obviously like chocolate?
Oh, look, I like chocolate.
Everyone likes chocolate.
Yeah. Who doesn't like chocolate? And so, he offered me basically a role in sales, just a junior. I suppose today you'd call it an internship or something, but it was really just a basic role. Yeah, Gary, if you want to get into sales, go for it. So that's how I started. And I've been selling chocolate ever since.
So over 20 years?
Well, no, 40 years.
40 years? I wasn't even born.
You weren't even born. I was only a baby at the time. No, that was the late 80s, I think about 1986, 87.
Oh, okay. Well, 86 was the year I was born, so
There you go. Okay. So, and look, I've stayed in the chocolate industry ever since.
Ever since.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well,
it's looked after me, so
of course,
it's looking after me. Why leave?
So have you found a big difference as to what, customers thought about chocolate back like 40 years ago?
Oh, look, back then, Australia was really way behind the rest of the world. Back then, compound was, heavily used, was compound. The only brands on the market here were Cadbury and Nestle.
The big manufacturers.
The big, and all locally made in Australia. There was very little imported chocolate, especially for bakers, bakers and pastry chefs. They had the option of Cadbury, Nestle. There was some imported chocolates coming in. I think back then the market leader at the time was probably your Swiss brands. So Karma was quite strong. Back in the 70s and 80s, Australia had a lot of German and Swiss chefs working in industry.
Working here, yes.
So they'd left Europe, come into Australia, and they were using the German and Swiss heritage chocolates. And so I think Shock and Arg was a big brand back then. As I mentioned, Karma. Another Swiss brand was Felschlin. There was a French brand very strong, was Cacabarry. But at the time, Callebaut was on the market here. There was a couple of small importers bringing it in, just mainly for some manufacturers. It wasn't really strong in the food service industry.
Yes.
In fact, the original distributor back then was Chef's Warehouse.
Chef's Warehouse.
Today.
They do.
Yeah, and they're still a customer today. So they were buying it through a chocolate manufacturer at the time that was importing it. Okay. And in fact, that company still exists. It's Duplessis Praline. He's over at Pymble at the moment now. They used to be at Neutral Bay back then. But there was a couple of other companies importing Callebaut at the time, and the company I was at was appointed the official importer for Callebaut. They put it all together under one business, and back in the mid-'80s, Callebaut created an export department. And so that's really how I got involved with the brand of Callebaut.
Callebaut, yeah.
Back then, yeah.
And would you say that's the biggest brand that sells here in Australia now?
Certainly for an imported chocolate for food service, it's definitely Callebaut. Yeah.
There's something special about Callebaut, right?
Look, they Belgian chocolate.
It's Belgium, yeah.
Yeah, Belgian chocolate has a reputation for quality, consistency, all of those things. And it's stayed through. But interesting, back then, the only products available was milk dark and white 5 kilo blocks.
Oh, that was it.
Yeah. And I remember the first order was 12 tonne.
Oh,
and it
wow.
was 6 tonne of milk, 3 tonne of dark, 3 tonne of white, all 5 kilo blocks. And that's all we had.
That's all you could get in.
Get. And it wasn't until the mid-'90s, I think, that they started to diversify and bring out the colettes, which are the small drops. Oh, that's
right, the drops.
Yeah. And then they started to expand the range into different percentages of chocolate, different percentages dark, different percentages of milk. And then they moved into
What about the powder,
origins.
cocoa powder?
Cocoa powder, they're not big in the cocoa powder. They do Callebaut does do a cocoa powder, but their business is chocolate.
Oh, okay. It's mainly the...
Yeah, cocoa powder is obviously a derivative from the cocoa bean.
Yes.
But Callebaut's business is chocolate. They do provide a cocoa powder.
Oh, okay.
But there's a couple of other companies, Olam and Cargill are probably the main cocoa powder companies globally that are focusing on powder. They focus on powder, liquor, cocoa butter. So they focus on the raw ingredient, whereas Callebaut focuses on the actual chocolate itself.
Actual chocolate.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah,
because I was reading how, Belgium has strict policies on the quality of the ingredients they use, and they can't use any vegetable fats like a lot of the other countries, palm oils.
Yeah, look, I mean, there's a lot of countries use palm oil, either 100% palm oil or some will add palm oil to keep the price down. A lot of the country, the rules per country tend to change a bit. In Australia, you can use, I think it's 5% palm oil and still call it chocolate.
Yeah.
And so there are some recipes on the market here where there's 5% palm oil in the chocolate, and they can still call it chocolate. And we don't have anything in our range that has that. But yeah.
Well, that's why one of you my
there you go.
You're my supplier, right?
That's why we're your supplier, of course.
That's why we make cake with good quality ingredients.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I get asked more and more to make cakes with vegan chocolate.
Okay.
Right? I don't know if you heard, but people, I don't know, they have a misconception that because cocoa comes from a tree, they think it's vegan, plant-based, but it's not, because when you manufacture it and you add all these, milk powder.
It's really the addition of milk that changes it.
Cocoa butter as well?
No, cocoa butter that's not.
Shouldn't be.
No, it's vegan free. The only thing that in chocolate that impacts it from being vegan is
the milk solids, milk
and,
powders.
For years, dark chocolate doesn't have milk in it, but because of the production process, if it's produced in a factory that produces a milk chocolate, it has to have may contain traces of. Now, some vegans will buy a dark chocolate if it's got may contain traces of, and most vegans will do that.
That's right.
It depends how vegan they are. Obviously, if somebody's got lactose intolerance, they're not going to eat something that's got may contain traces of.
That's right, yeah.
But for the vegan market, predominantly they will use a dark chocolate if it just says may contain traces of.
Oh, okay. So that would be the safest.
Yeah, that's the safest. The problem now, what's happened now in the last couple of years, because if people read may contain traces of, and if they're lactose intolerant, often they'll still consume it.
Yes.
They take the risk.
That's right.
But if they've got a real severe allergy, and sometimes the contamination can be quite high.
Oh, of course, yeah.
If you so the way it works, they'll do a production of milk chocolate.
Yes.
And then that same machinery will do the dark chocolate.
So they can't clean
they do clean, but they'll clean it, but they're not going to clean it completely out. So they might run a few hundred kilos of dark chocolate, for example, through the production. And theoretically, that's starting to clean out the milk contamination.
Oh, yes, yeah.
But then the next couple of tonne of production might have some slight traces. So if you've eaten a dark chocolate that's at the start of the production run, it's going to have high levels of traces. If by the time that 20-tonne run is finished, the chocolate at the end of it's going to have no traces. But there's no way of knowing.
But you don't know,
So
have to be very careful.
You've got to be careful.
Yeah.
And so the way it is now, Australian regulations and the Australian Allergy Bureau are heavily recommending that if it may contain traces of, it's actually added as an ingredient.
Oh, really?
On the ingredient list.
Okay.
So for all of our dark chocolate now, it has milk as an ingredient. Now, it's not added as an ingredient.
Okay, it's not physically there.
It's not physically added, but because it may contain contamination, it's now listed in the ingredients. So that for us is a challenge because we can't supply that to the vegan market.
That's right.
The vegan market won't use it if it's in the ingredient.
And that's really interesting for our audience to understand and know, actually, because more and more I get requests for allergy-friendly cakes. And it's not just dairy, it's even sugar, eggs, soy, nuts, gluten, wheat.
Contamination. It's really, and there's people with severe allergies to these ingredients. And, that may contain traces of, can be quite misleading.
Misleading, yeah.
And what led to the Australian regulations changing, and it's not a regulation that's enforced. It really comes back to the manufacturer to make the decision, what do you want to do? And it's that proof in labelling laws is what they call it. And Calabar have just made the decision to add milk as an ingredient because they don't want to run the risk of anybody getting sick. A few years ago, there was an incident in New Zealand, and there was a chocolate manufacturer in New Zealand that was actually using Calabar chocolate, and the manufacturer themselves did not put on the labelling may contain traces of.
Oh.
And it was dark chocolate. Somebody consumed it, and it was somebody with a severe allergy to dairy.
To dairy, yes.
And I think from memory the person died. And
so did they sue them?
Well, I don't know the outcome of all of that, but it just shows that somebody with a severe allergy can be impacted from the may contain. But then it goes further, and if you're looking, you're a small bakery, for example, for you to supply a chocolate cake that you guarantee is dairy-free, you can't have any dairy in your bakery.
That's right, yeah.
You can't even have a carton of milk, in your kitchen.
And that's why I always tell customers I don't have a designated area where there's no allergens, because I don't. All I can say is we try our best, and when it's allergy-related, we bake everything in the morning when the kitchen is clean and sanitised. But there's flour there as well. There's dairy. There's nuts in the cool room.
There's not many. It'd be very hard to find a bakery or a patisserie or a manufacturer of any type.
You need like a room for each allergen.
You need a room for each allergen, or you just have a complete kitchen that is completely dairy free, and you don't allow anything in there.
And that's right.
There's a factory in Italy, a chocolate factory in Italy that does dark chocolate. 100% dairy free. They don't even allow milk in the staff cafeteria. So that's how they do it. I remember years ago, before nut allergies became a concern, in the late 80s, the first time I went to Calabar, you first walked through their nut production. Because in Calabar, they make hazelnut pralines and almond pralines. So the tour of the factory started in the nut factory, and you'd walk through the nut factory and then you'd go through the chocolate facility.
And it was all there together.
But now they don't do tours anymore at all. But in the mid-90s, they changed the direction of the tour from starting in the chocolate, and you would end up in the nut section. That way there was no risk of carrying any nut through to the factory. And so over the years, companies have really brought in strategies to avoid that risk management. and to avoid those things
absolutely.
happening. Yeah.
And I think it's just, I don't know, it seems to be getting worse, you know. But
it's getting worse.
Getting worse,
it's definitely getting worse. I don't know why. I'm no expert on that side of it.
Why either. Even
theories out there.
I found out last week that I have a nut allergy.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
When I'm 40. Like, never in my life.
Yeah.
You know?
How'd you find out? What was it?
I found out because I had some inflammation and I went to the doctor, got a blood test, and then I went to the allergy clinic and they did all the pricking.
Yeah.
And there you go.
There you go. You got nut allergy.
So now I've got a nut allergy.
And you've got a nut allergy
and
you never know you had.
That's right. It's crazy.
Is that something new then?
Of course, because I've always had nuts all my life.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's weird, isn't it? So something's
the body
changes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I've got an allergy to crustacean.
Oh, okay. So, my dad has that. Yeah.
But I've always had that.
Is it severe?
Yeah. I think so. I'm pretty sure it is. I don't want to know. I just avoid it completely. 20 years ago, I had a severe reaction. And I didn't end up in hospital, but I was close. But ever since then, I've just avoided it. There's times since then it's been in something I've eaten, and you can feel the numbness starts on the lips, goes to the tongue, and as it moves back.
Oh, it's scary, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's very scary.
So I just avoid crustacean. Totally. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's go on to our next question. Yep. So who would be one of the leading producers of cocoa at the moment in the world?
You've got to, I suppose we've got to separate the consumer brands. You know, when you say leading, the leading brand, if you ask most people, they're going to say Cadbury's.
That's right. Or Nestle.
Nestle,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. On a global level, consumer brands, you've got your Cadbury's and your Nestle's and your Hershey's in America.
Oh, yes, Hershey's.
Lindt is huge. So there's all the consumer brands. Mm-hmm. The biggest chocolate producer in the world is Barry Callebaut. So Barry Callebaut, the company owns the brand Callebaut.
Yes.
And so the brand Callebaut is produced in the Belgian factory.
Yes.
But Barry Callebaut have over 60 factories around the world. And they're supplying they're supplying the food industry globally. So it's something like 25% of the world's cocoa consumption comes out of one of the Barry Callebaut factories. And whether it's whether you're eating a Magnum ice cream or you're eating
you don't even think about that. Yeah.
You see Magnum ice cream globally is Barry Callebaut chocolate.
Do they use Callebaut?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The likes of Gillian chocolate.
Oh, yes.
Godiva, Neuhaus. It's endless.
So many
the
different
multinational brands that actually buy their chocolate from Barry Callebaut or from Callebaut. It depends.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, there's the Barry Callebaut is the parent company. Callebaut is the brand. Mm-hmm. That's produced in Belgium. All the other factories around the world producing different brands. But it's all under that Barry Callebaut banner. And those factories are producing chocolate for the local food ingredient market.
Oh, okay.
So in China, for example, there's a factory in Shanghai that's just producing chocolate for the domestic manufacturing market in China. There's a factory in Singapore. There's a factory in India. There's a factory in Melbourne.
All over. Oh, really? There's a factory in Melbourne as well.
For the food manufacturers here in Australia. So when you put it all together, it's over 25% of the world's chocolate.
That's a lot of chocolate.
Is coming from Barry Callebaut. Yeah.
So where would Barry Callebaut get their cocoa beans from?
Predominantly, depending where the factory is located. So where we get most of our chocolate from is out of the Belgian factory, the Callebaut factory. Mm-hmm. Majority of the beans there are from West Africa.
Oh, okay, West Africa.
Yeah,
it's one of the biggest producers,
West Africa's the biggest producer. Mm-hmm. I think 70% of the world's cocoa comes out of West Africa. Mm-hmm. So Ivory Coast, Ghana, Nigeria, all the small African countries around that region are all producing cocoa beans.
Cocoa beans. And a bit South America a little bit as well?
South America, there's a lot comes out of Peru, Venezuela. We used to get a chocolate with beans out of Cuba, but that stopped some years ago. Mexico, there's plants. So most of the South American countries have cocoa industry. Yes. Brazil has a large cocoa industry. It used to be the largest in the 90s. Brazil was the largest.
Oh, okay, yep.
But towards the end of the 90s, they got wiped out by disease.
Oh.
and it completely
Mm-hmm.
decimated the cocoa industry in Brazil.
Oh, what a shame.
They've spent the last 25 years slowly recovering.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe Brazil is now working its way to being another major player in the global market.
Mm-hmm.
But all the other South American countries are also investing a lot in cocoa agriculture now because prices are so high.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's now
well, that's what
attractive.
we need to talk about. Why have the prices increased so much in the last few years?
Look, it's
the number of factors.
There's a lot of reasons, and you know, there's so much on the media, and all I've got to go on is what I read and people I talk to.
Yes,
there's a lot of different reasons behind it. It probably all comes back to one reason, and that one reason is the farmers don't get paid enough.
I know. So sad, yeah.
I was in Ghana in 2013.
Okay, yes.
We took a whole bunch of Australian chocolatiers and pastry chefs to Ghana. There was 50 of us in total in 2013. And back then, the farmers were earning something like US $3 a day. That's what they were living on. That's was their earning from cocoa beans. I think it was about $3.50 US a kilo a day. That is what they're living on. We went back there in 2017, another group we took back, and the farmers then were, I think, earning about $4 US a day.
Oh my God!
And that's the poverty line.
That's the poverty. $4
US a day is the poverty line.
There's no regulations here as to how much they need to get paid or anything.
There's regulations in West Africa. So the government in West Africa, they have what they call the farm gate price.
Okay.
And that's a guaranteed price to the farmers. But back then, that guaranteed price was $4 US a day. That's all they were getting was $4 US a day. Then in about 2020, I think, and look, I might have the timeline not quite correct, pretty much when COVID hit.
Oh, yes,
the currencies in West Africa just dived. And by 2022, they were earning $2 US a day.
No way.
So that's under the poverty line. And I've been there and I've seen how they live. They live really very primitive.
And we're paying so much for this chocolate.
Well, we are now.
You know, like now. I mean,
back then we weren't. And we weren't, but because everyone wants cheap. It's the race to the bottom. And every brand on the market, people want cheap. It's in many cases, it's just buying what's the cheapest. If the quality's there, they're going to buy the cheapest.
That's
of
right.
the best quality.
Yes.
And if you're paying the cheapest, it means the farmers aren't getting paid. And so what happened during COVID, because the farmers weren't getting an income, they weren't able to invest in agriculture. They couldn't invest in fertilisers. They couldn't invest in trees, new trees, and they didn't have the money to do it. So they went through 2 or 3 years of minimal investment into the plantations. Then 2023, I think it was, 2022, 2023, the weather changed. There was more rain, too dry, a whole bunch of stuff went on. And so they had a couple of years of very low crop levels. And so the supply was in deficit. And when there's a deficit, demand, that whole thing, demand, supply and demand, prices started to skyrocket. And we just saw it in the start of 2024.
Yeah, that's when it all changed.
Just when it went.
Because I remember the Freddo frogs. They used to cost $1. And now
there you go.
From 2024, approximately, they went up to $2.
Look, you know, it's cost of the. It's
double the price.
It's double the price.
Yeah.
You know, back in 23, I think it was $1,600 a ton for cocoa beans. That was the global price.
The global,
During 24 and 25, I think did it go to 10,000 or something?
Oh my God!
So that's massive hit, and massive hit on the bottom line for chocolate manufacturers.
Yes.
So of course prices have to go up. So there was a couple of years of deficit in beans, and prices went through the roof. The problem is it wasn't the farmers getting the money. It was all the traders in between.
Right,
The farmers were still just getting their. Well, the farm gate price did go up last year to about, I think it was 5,000 US.
Okay.
But that was 18 months into this price
This
spike.
price, yeah.
And it was all the traders in between. So it was the traders were buying the beans and then they were putting their premiums and then they were selling it to the manufacturers.
Oh,
And so, but who are the traders? The traders are our superannuation funds.
oh,
The traders,
really?
all the, And so, we want our super funds to grow.
Yes, yeah.
So it's that real balance, isn't it? It's we're paying more for chocolate, but some of us are going to benefit because our super funds are growing, and this all gets into that economics that's way above my head. But when it comes down to it, the poor farmer is still living. He's still living on the poverty line. And so last year the farm gate price went up to $5,000 a tonne, is what the farmers were guaranteed. So the crop at the end of last year, so the main crop, they call it the main crop, the October-November crop, which is called the main crop in West Africa, there's a surplus now.
Oh, they're okay.
So prices started coming down in September, October because there's a lot of talk about a surplus. So prices of cocoa the beans started coming down. What happened, we know now was happening is all the global manufacturers were contracting in September, October because prices were falling.
Yeah.
And when they contract, they'll take 12 months cover.
I was going to say they do it for a long time.
They'll do 6 or 12 months cover. So, let's talk some round figures. If it's, the cocoa market's gone from 10,000 to 5,000, all the buyers were contracting as the prices were falling.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And by the end of last year, most of the big manufacturers had taken their 12 months cover. So then at the end of the year, there's a surplus of beans. So now the price is down below $3,000 a tonne because nobody's buying. No one's buying because they've already taken cover. They don't have
that makes sense.
Either they don't have the finances to cover extra. Consumption's down, so there's a lot of uncertainty still in the market. So yes, prices of cocoa beans have come down, but prices of chocolate won't come down for the next. It'll take 6 or 12 months for it to flow through. But that's only if it stays at 3,000. But then you go back to this farm gate price is 5,000 a tonne. So that's what the government guaranteed the farmers. It's 3,000 a tonne now. So where's that 2,000?
Oh, yeah, who's pocketing that?
Well, it's what has now happened is the farm gate price has now gone back to 3,000. Because the government wasn't going to sell it for 3,000 and give the farmer 5. So the farm gate price has now dropped down to, it's still more, I think it's a bit higher than 3,000 at the moment. But what does that mean? It means the farmers who were expecting 5,000 and they're only getting 3,000. So they've invested in that. They invested last year. They borrowed money. They borrowed from the banks, however they got their money to invest, thinking they're going to get 5,000 a tonne. They're now only going to get 3 or 3,300 a tonne. So we're heading into another cycle. Where they've lost all this money. Some of them are walking off the plantations. Those that have still got can somehow stay, haven't got the money to reinvest anyway. So are we going to see this vicious cycle continuing? Who knows?
We don't know.
Who knows? No one ever thought it was going to drop to $3,000 a tonne.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, when everyone was jumping on board in September and October, all the indications was, it's about to bottom out, it's about to bottom out. So everyone's jumping on board. Yeah. We did. And then it kept going down. And I spent sort of November, December looking at it go down, thinking, why did we contract when we did?
Because it's keep going,
But we're in the same position.
No guarantee, right?
We contract out 6 to 8 months worth of stock, and at the higher price. And I get customers ring us every day saying, "When's the pricing coming down?" Because the market's dropped. But it hasn't dropped for us.
Hasn't dropped yet.
We won't start to see that until well into this year, maybe even into the second quarter of this year. But if somewhere some big players start buying this $3,000 a tonne beans that are there, it's going to start going up. And once that's gone, it's going to be right up there again.
Wow. And these trees, do they take a long time to
They
grow?
take 4 years to. So once they're planted, they take 4 years to
For the fruit.
for the fruit to
Yeah.
grow. Yeah.
Oh, so yeah.
So it's not
it's not that quick, really.
It's not a quick investment. So a lot of farmers would.
And you need the right conditions.
You need
a lot
the
of
right
humidity.
conditions. Oh, you need
rain,
that tropical. You need the tropical. You need the rain at the right time. But once the pods have bloomed, you don't want too much rain because it then creates disease. But there's also complications. I think it was last year, it might have been the year before, the dry winds were coming off the Sahara earlier than normal.
Yes.
And so it was drying out the crops. At one stage last year, the rain lasted longer, so there was dampness in the crops. So all of that adds to the complication. Wow. In Ghana, a big thing in Ghana is gold mining, illegal gold mining. So illegal, yeah. So I've seen videos where hundreds of acres of cocoa plantations have just been completely stripped and turned into gold mines. And it's the farmers are pushed off the land, and the land's just taken off them, and the land's just been raped and turned into gold mining. So there's a whole lot of stuff that's complicated. But you know what? Something I learnt when I've been to Brazil and visited the plantations there, and as third world sort of existence. I've been to Ghana. The first world luxuries exist because third world exists.
That's right. It's very sad. But
if every chocolate consumer said, I don't care, I'm going to pay whatever it costs, then the farmers would be existing.
That's right, yeah.
But we don't.
We don't. No.
We're in the first world. We love the luxuries.
That's right.
And we want to pay as cheap as we can for it.
That's the problem, yeah. We want
to
pay as cheap,
chocolate, whether it be clothing or whatever it is we're buying that comes out of the third world. Yeah, we want price.
We should stop and think a little bit.
Yeah.
Before we reach our hand in the pocket, right? And make decisions when buying.
But we don't.
We don't. No, that's a reality. We don't.
Somebody comes to you and wants to buy a chocolate cake, and they're comparing your price with the bakery down the road.
Oh.
And if you're using a premium chocolate, which you do, and you're paying the premium price, but your cake shop down the road using a cheap chocolate with compound in it or with palm oil in it, they're not going to tell the customer that.
No, that's the thing. They don't tell the customer. And the customer just sees the big price difference.
And they're just going to go, that Gabriela, she's not telling us the truth. We're going to buy the cheaper one. But, you're sticking to your principles to pay the money. But not everyone does that.
No.
And so it's always going to be. It's always going to be that. Yeah.
That's very true.
And, the other thing that impacts, we all know sustainability. And, for the last 20 years, there's been a lot of, media and the woke, I suppose, complaining about child labour and child slavery.
Yes, yeah.
Back in the 80s and 90s, from what I understand, it was rife. It was uncontrolled, unregulated. Into the 2000s, most big chocolate companies have worked hard to try and eradicate that sort of thing. And in doing so, they're educating the kids. They're educating the farmers' kids. Those kids are becoming educated. They're leaving school. They don't want to be a farmer. They want to be an accountant. They want to go into the banking or the finance or legal or something, some sort of
that's the problem.
Profession.
Who wants to be a farmer nowadays?
Yeah, that's it. So there's no one taking over the farms. No. There's no historically the son would take over from the father. But that's all coming to an end.
That's right.
Because
and this is a problem for a lot of the ingredients, the whole industry, right? Not just chocolate.
Yeah. As they're becoming educated, which they deserve to be, they're not working on the farms.
That's right.
They'll work on the farms if the money's there.
Of course.
But the money's not there, so they're not working. It's far bigger than any of us can sort of fix, and it's never going to be fixed.
No, I don't think so, unfortunately. No. We just have to try and buy as local as much as we can.
Yeah.
Right? What more can we do?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we only have a few minutes left. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Gary, for being here.
That's a long time.
Is there anything like your insights of what you think might happen to chocolate in the next few years? Do you think we'll be?
I think there's going to be a lot of changes in chocolate. I think we're going to see a lot of ingredient that's like chocolate.
Ah, okay.
There's a lot of development because of this shortage in cocoa.
Yes.
And let's face it, the big chocolate companies are public companies. They're owned by shareholders. They just want a return on investment.
Yeah, that's all they care about.
They don't care what's been produced. They don't care what's been made. They just want to know something's been made that we're going to get a return on our investment.
Yes.
So there's a lot of research, a lot of investment going on in other ingredients that is not chocolate, but it's like chocolate.
Like chocolate.
I don't know a lot. I read a lot of stuff going on. There's probably about half a dozen different products at the moment I'm aware of that different companies are researching and trying to develop.
Yes.
For me, I would never even touch one of those. Because if I'm going to eat chocolate, I'm going to eat chocolate.
The real chocolate.
I want to eat real
you want
chocolate.
to enjoy it, right? Yeah.
I want to enjoy it. But I think the future's going to see a lot of products coming onto the market that looks like chocolate.
Like that,
Smells like chocolate.
Yeah.
May not
so
taste
much,
like chocolate, but it's replacing chocolate. And when it's used in it might be used as a filling in a biscuit. People are going to accept it. Yeah,
people won't know, right?
Won't know. The big thing is making chocolate without using chocolate. You think about the two of the biggest selling products on the market is Kinder Surprise.
Oh, yeah, Kinder Surprise.
They're buying a toy. They're not buying chocolate.
That's right.
But it's chocolate. But it's chocolate without buying chocolate because you're getting a toy.
Yes, you're getting a toy,
Yeah, something like, I'm not going to say the brand, but there's a big brand on the market, which is a really nice, soft, creamy filling. The shell is chocolate.
Yes.
The middle is filled with 88 ingredients.
Oh, goodness.
That's not chocolate.
Yeah, that's not chocolate,
But people think it's chocolate. And that's where I think we're heading. I think we're heading where they're going to replace as much of the ingredient with something that tastes like chocolate or looks like chocolate because the world's running out of cocoa beans.
That's right.
And as India and China...
The shareholders want their return.
The shareholders want their return.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. And as the big countries like India and China, as their population becomes wealthy, they're eating chocolate. So the minute that consumption starts, it drains what's already a limited amount of cocoa beans. Right. So I think that's where we're headed. There's always going to be chocolate, but I think we're going to start to see.
And people are always going to love chocolate, so there'll always be demand for it.
Yeah. But to meet that demand, there's going to be products that is using an ingredient that's not chocolate.
Might even have 1% of chocolate.
Yeah,
and the rest, who knows?
Yeah.
I guess we just have to hope that they put some strict policies about, labelling and ingredients.
Well,
but that's not going to happen either.
I don't think it's going to happen.
Because the multinationals,
they're still going to try and trick the consumer.
Yeah.
And I think hopefully by that stage I'll be dead.
Don't say that.
Why have a world? What's the point of a world without chocolate?
Chocolate. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Gary.
No problem. Happy to be here.
It's been a pleasure to have you on my podcast today.
No problem.
I hope everyone enjoyed it. Thank you for listening. Bye.